It's time for Volusia Magazine, a public information television program brought to you by Volusia County government. I'm Joanne Magley. On today's program, you may have noticed some smoky conditions in Volusia County. We'll explain why these prescribed burns are actually good for people and the environment. Find out how one Votran bus driver made his way into the record books. I'll show you what it takes for the Volusia County Sheriff's Office to throw a holiday party for more than 300 children. And Community Information Director Dave Byron will talk about the well-being of Volusia County seniors with our studio guest, Doug Beach of the Volusia Council on Aging. Those stories and more on this edition of Volusia Magazine. Some areas of Volusia County have been smoky lately because firefighters from the Florida Forest Service, Volusia County Fire Services, and the St. Johns River Water Management District have been conducting prescribed burns. Prescribed burns are good for people and land because they reduce hazardous accumulations of underbrush that could fuel a wildfire. They restore native plant species and maintain natural ecosystems. For most of Florida's history, Florida was covered with grasslands and timberland. Periodic natural fires maintained the ecosystem, burning off dead foliage, thinning overcrowded forests, and making room for new growth. As Florida's population exploded in the early 20th century, fire suppression efforts increased. As a result, trees were stressed by overcrowding, fire-dependent species disappeared, and flammable fuels built up. This increased the risk of raging wildfires that can spread rapidly and endanger humans, homes, and wildlife. Today, firefighters know that fire is a necessary part of the life cycle in forests. Florida started using prescribed burns in the 1970s and now has the most active prescribed burn program in the nation, treating more than 2 million acres with prescribed fires each year, according to John Pasquale, a wildfire mitigation specialist for Volusia County Fire Services.
Where we're burning today has a lot of palmetto gallberry and scrub oak in it, and we're trying to reduce the fuel loading of those three types, is the palmetto gallberry and scrub. And what it's going to do is it's going to help the pine thrive in here, the longleaf pine thrive in here, plus it's going to allow some more vegetation, grasses to come back in for the wildlife.
Before conducting a prescribed burn, firefighters consider the temperature, humidity, wind, moisture level in the ground, and the conditions for the dispersal of smoke. Firefighters agree prescribed fire is a safe way to apply a natural process to ensure ecosystem health and protect people and property from wildfires.
The only thing I'd like to add is we're getting ready to come after we get through burn season. It's going to be fire season, and the biggest thing I could tell everybody is prepare now. Have a plan ready so that you can, just like a hurricane, have all your stuff ready to go. If we get a wildfire, be ready to evacuate and try to keep at least a 30-foot buffer, if not more, around your house where we can get in and defend it.
For more information on fire safety, visit volusia.org/fire services. It takes a Votran fixed route driver about 12 years to drive 1 million miles. Now imagine driving that many miles among the increasing traffic without a single accident. Votran bus operator Evett Doc Wilson reached 3 million safe driving miles recently, a Votran first. Votran boasts 10 drivers who have each driven not 1, but 2 million accident-free miles. Another 32 drivers working for the Public Transit Agency have reached the 1 million safety milestone. These drivers showcase Votran's excellent safety record. Wilson is the first Votran driver to accomplish the achievement of 3 million safe miles.
Safety is the #1 goal. It's ingrained in our training. It's consistently pushed to the employees on a daily basis, and it's something that we're really proud of. We have 55 current and past Votran employees who have achieved 1 million miles of safe driving. So it takes 12 years to accomplish 1 million miles. That's no small feat.
Wilson achieved 3 million safe miles in 2013 and reached 2 million safe miles in 2001. During his 36 years with Votran, He has been named Operator of the Year in 1995, 2000, and 2013, and Employee of the Month 3 times. Wilson received the National Safety Council's Safe Driver of the Year Award of Honor for the South Atlantic region in 2009. He also has received commendations for perfect attendance, safe driving, excellent customer service, and has participated in numerous special events. Hired by Votran in March of 1977, Wilson is an East Side operator driving daily on Route 40 and Route 41.
What does it take to get 3 million miles? A lot of concentration, a lot of focus on the job at hand. I can't take all of the credit for that. It starts at the top with management, and we have an excellent management team. They prepare us constantly throughout the year with periodic seminars, and we even have simulator training to prepare us for the traffic out there.
Wilson and his fellow million milers have driven an impressive 44 million safe miles. Enhanced technology on the buses adds to the safety. Wilson noted that the announcement system on the buses enables the drivers to concentrate more on driving, and the announcements are clearer for the riders. For more information on Votran Public Transportation, visit Votran.org. A highly trained dog named Yankee is helping to keep passengers safe at Daytona Beach International Airport. K9 Yankee, along with Volusia County Deputy Joe Durney, are stationed at Daytona Beach International Airport, where they conduct area security checks of the private, restricted, and public access areas of the airport and assist TSA. But Yankee isn't a typical bomb detection dog. The canine recently earned second place in explosives detections during the 16th Annual International Canine Seminar and Workshop held in New Smyrna Beach. Deputy Durney and Canine Yankee, both members of the Volusia County Sheriff's Office Bomb Squad and Canine Unit, competed among 125 law enforcement teams from across the United States and as far away as Canada, Sweden, and the Caribbean.
There was about 125 teams this year. Yankee placed second in explosives detection. What it entails, it's an advanced course. It's not a basic handler's course. These guys are seasoned handlers. They know what they're doing. The scenarios are designed to challenge the dog as well as the handler.
Canine Yankee is a specially trained bomb dog. The German Shepherd was imported from a certified vendor in Germany and spent several months undergoing extensive training at Southern Coast Canine in New Smyrna Beach.
He goes through a rigorous training regimen. It starts from day one to day when it's time to go. He's doing training all day long, where it's 3, 4, 5 sessions at a time. Gives a little bit of a break. It's a long process, but it's something that we need to make sure we get it right because of what these dogs do. They protect us every day. He detects explosives. There's also drug dogs that they have to find drugs in people's vehicles and in their cars and things like that.
The airport paid for Yankee through a 100% security grant from the Florida Department of Transportation. The airport then gifted Yankee to the Volusia County Sheriff's Office.
Hello, I'm Joshua Wagner, Volusia County Council, District 2. If you are planning a construction project on your home or business, make sure your contractor is licensed and has obtained the proper permits. Obtain an estimate in advance and do not put money down before the work is completed. If you have a complaint, please contact the county's contractor licensing office. We can verify if someone you are hiring is licensed to do the work they claim. For more information, visit volusia.org.
Have you ever seen a holiday shopping spree for 300 children? This was the scene recently when members of the 100 Deputies, 100 Kids Charity Committee went shopping for the Sheriff's Office annual holiday celebration that benefits underprivileged children in Volusia County. And while the program is called 100 Deputies, 100 Kids, School Resource Deputy Ken Welty says it's definitely outgrown the name.
Well, it's not just the gifts, the kids actually get to come spend time with us. They ride in our police cars. We actually sit and eat a meal, and then they get to see Santa Claus come in, and when you watch them unwrap the presents, the whole thing together is just one wonderful night, a great experience.
The program was launched in 1989 and has been carried on enthusiastically since Sheriff Ben Johnson took office in 2001. For the Sheriff's Office, it's an opportunity to bond with children and give back to the community.
For 2 years in a row, I've actually stayed in contact with my family that we had because they were the same age as my family. So we've actually grown and become friends over the years, and you can actually make new friends, and you can be part of a new family. It's a good experience.
The shopping began at 8:30 a.m. and didn't end until all of the shopping carts were overflowing with toys and goodies. As you can imagine, a transaction like this takes a lot of planning and donations. Judy Edwards, management specialist with the Sheriff's Office and chairman of the 100 Deputies, 100 Kids program, says the event takes about 4 months to plan, for everything from contacting previous and prospective donors to identifying families that are facing hardships.
Nominations are received through deputy sheriffs who come into contact with these families either on a personal level or professional level. Our school crossing guards also make nominations as they see these kids every day. And then I turn to the school guidance counselors in the Volusia County school system for nominations. It's a lot of coordination on my end. It's just trying to get the nominations in, trying to assign deputies to these families, and making sure that everybody that is been nominated is invited to the party.
And after months of preparation, the shopping spree, and not to mention wrapping $10,000 worth of gifts, this is the result. More than 300 children feasting on 150 pizzas and getting to experience the magic of the holiday season. The deputies serve as hosts and escorts for the evening, picking up their families in their patrol cars for the ride to the agricultural center in DeLand. In addition to food and gifts, the kids enjoyed pony rides and fire trucks and, of course, a visit from Santa Claus.
This event actually is wonderful. I've been doing it for 5 years. We love giving back to the kids who are in need. I get my family involved too, so it teaches morals and ethics and what we should do on Christmas and what it's really about. So I'm glad to be a part of it. Some of the kids that we mentor and part of this program, they know that we're more than just deputies, and we help them with other things like bullying, their homework, stuff they deal with on a daily basis. So we actually get to become their friends for a little while, and it's really good.
For Volusia Here and Now, I'm Joanne Magley.
My name is Specialist Macmillan, stationed in Baumholder, Germany. Just want to give a shout out to our family in Port Orange, Florida.
Happy holidays, Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
The timing of flu is very unpredictable and can vary from season to season. Flu activity most commonly peaks in the U.S. in January or February, but it can begin as early as October and continue to occur as late as May. The Florida Department of Health reminds residents and visitors that the best way to protect against the flu is to get vaccinated each year. Stephanie Strong has more information about flu prevention in this segment of Community Health Matters.
You don't have to remind Barbara Montgomery to get a flu shot. The Lake Helen resident gets one every year for protection against influenza.
I get it every year. I got some years ago, like 20 at least, I got the flu really bad. And at that time I was smoking. It made me quit smoking, but I swore I would never get the flu again. And every year since then I have gotten the flu shot, and I have not gotten it.
The Florida Department of Health in Volusia County advises residents to get the flu vaccine as soon as possible.
And I try to do everything I can to stay healthy and wash hands a lot and take a lot of vitamin C and try to live healthy.
Influenza or flu is a contagious respiratory illness caused by influenza viruses. It can cause mild to severe illness. Serious outcomes of flu infection can result in hospitalization or death. Some people, such as older people, young children, and people with certain health conditions, are at high risk for serious flu complications. The best way to prevent the flu is by getting vaccinated each year.
Families come in all sizes and shapes. Sometimes your friends are your family by choice, or sometimes you're just stuck with Uncle Charles. But what we know is that you want to protect the people that are close to you. but the flu can unravel everything. Your flu vaccine protects you and your family. No matter what draws your family together, protect yourself, protect your family. Everyone needs a flu vaccine.
Flu prevention steps include washing your hands often, covering your mouth and nose with a tissue when sneezing and coughing in your sleeve and not your hands, staying at home when sick, and getting a flu shot. It took a few minutes for Barbara Montgomery to get her flu vaccine, and now she has peace of mind. For more information on flu prevention, please visit www.volusiahealth.com. For Volusia Magazine, I'm Stephanie Strong, Public Information Officer for the Florida Department of Health in Volusia County.
Now let's join Community Information Director Dave Byron in the studio with his guest, Doug Beach, the Chief Executive Officer of the Volusia County Council on Aging.
Well, thanks, Joanne, and happy holidays, everyone. For nearly half a century, the Council on Aging has been a primary resource and advocate for the health and welfare of seniors in Volusia County. It's the only nonprofit organization providing senior services in all of Volusia County. As we all know, Volusia County is a haven for seniors, having just been named a top retirement destination by the National AARP organization. Today, we'll find out what's on the minds of our senior population. We're talking with Doug Beach. He's the Chief Executive Officer of the Volusia County Council on Aging. Doug, happy holidays.
You as well. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for being with us.
Great.
Hey, for those people that are not familiar with your organization, give us kind of a general description of what you do.
Well, when we introduce ourselves in the public, or I introduce ourselves in the public, I'll ask people, how many of you have ever heard of the Council on Aging? And not many people have. And I said, how many of you have heard Meals on Wheels? Everybody knows Meals on Wheels.
Sure.
So we are the Meals on Wheels provider in Volusia County. There are 52, 54 like agencies like us across the state providing Meals on Wheels. They come through federal and state contracts, and our goal is to keep seniors in the community as long as possible.
And I think your major facility is downtown Daytona Beach, is
Yeah, that's where the office is, but we have 8 sites in partnerships with the cities in Volusia County, and that's where our seniors go, are those senior centers, those congregate sites.
Now, how are you funded?
Mostly federal and state, about 52%, 54% federal state, and then the rest of it is through donations, and we have a private pay business as well.
And I think you have a contract with Volusia County.
We do. Volusia County contract allows us to go ahead and use some of their dollars to match the state and federal dollars. We provide those types of services for Volusia County as well, but it's a great partnership with the county.
As I mentioned, AARP recently did a national publication that ranked Volusia County, the DMA, Volusia County DMA, as perhaps the most affordable, one of the best places to retire in all of the United States. That's got to be good news, and it's got to prompt more seniors to be coming this way, I would think.
Well, it's good for Volusia County as well. As you may know, the retirement industry is the #2 industry of the state of Florida. And so those Medicare dollars, Social Security dollars, and as well as the savings that many of these seniors have put together for a long time spend in Volusia County like any other dollar. So it's really good for the economy.
Speaking of the economy, Doug, we know that the last several years have been pretty tough. It seems like, the sunshine is back out and the economy is perking again, but these have been some tough times. I would imagine for a lot of seniors, this recent downturn in the economy has been pretty tough. I mean, I've read where seniors have lost their retirement accounts and their IRAs and all of that sort of thing. That must have been a problem in the last several years.
Well, it cut the value of many of those retirement accounts in half.
Right.
And so even though we're much farther ahead than we were back in 2007 with respect to the stock market, many of those seniors have not built up those accounts. And so what we're seeing is a lot of seniors are staying in the workplace for a longer period of time. It's not only beneficial to them, but it's also beneficial to the economy, and at the end of the day, probably the best thing to do.
Yeah, I was going to say, people are living longer for one thing and staying into the workforce longer, as you just said. There are a lot of other trends that are taking place with seniors these days. One of the things that we're finding is that Alzheimer's is a concern. When I was a kid, I don't think I heard Alzheimer's, and so now it's a very, very common illness for seniors. Do you think it's just another name for what we always had, or is this a new phenomenon?
Well, I think it's very close to hardening of the arteries. And you
Right.
remember we
Oh,
had,
yeah.
as kids, my great-grandfather had hardening of the arteries, and many of the symptoms were very similar to what we have today. But Alzheimer's is mostly a disease of people who get older. And if you look at it, a good percentage of folks over the age of 85 are going to get Alzheimer's, and younger folks don't, and so it's late onset. But the idea is, how can we make sure that we keep those folks in their homes as long as possible, decrease the chance of them having Alzheimer's, and if they do, allow them to manage that disease better than we're managing it right now.
Yeah, I was going to say, it seems like from what I read, they're making progress in Alzheimer's in terms of treatment and that sort of thing.
Yeah, and hopefully, there's not a cure. Don't know that there will be one anytime soon.
Not for me, huh?
Yeah. My hope is, though, is that we learn to take care of the caregiver better.
Okay.
60% of caregivers, particularly in these types of situations, pass before their loved one. And we're finding that we're burning out these caregivers at an increasing rate. So if we can just find respite opportunities for the caregivers so that they can do what they want to do, which is take care of their loved one, then I think that we'll be much better off.
And we were talking earlier, and one of the things that you told me is staying active and staying social with other, social interaction, and keeping your mind sharp is a key to this.
Yeah, we talk about three things. We talk about social, intellectual, and physical activities. From a social perspective, we know that social isolation is as difficult on a senior's health as smoking 16 cigarettes a day.
Really?
And from an intellectual perspective, there was a study done on a group of nuns, but what it showed is that for those nuns that were intellectually active, even though they had Alzheimer's disease when they died, they didn't show all the symptoms.
Really?
So what we want to do is make sure we keep our seniors intellectually active. And then physical activity is just essential. 5 major diseases of seniors: hips, heart, depression, diabetes, and dementia. Exercise is a positive to slow those down.
Wow, and that makes perfect sense.
Right.
One of the other things, and you just touched on it, was is depression, right. And loneliness is a common problem for a lot of seniors. As you just said, their loved one passes on. They might have been with that person for 40, 50 years, and then all of a sudden they're by themselves. I would think that's a challenge.
Highest suicide rate is for white males over the age of 60, over the age of 70,
Wow.
who've lost their spouse.
Wow.
And yeah, it's a big problem for us, is not only depression but suicide.
And obviously, as our seniors age, they require more health care. Right. The Robert Wood Johnson Foundation does a county by county, across the country analysis of the health indicators of each county. It's like some 3,000 in the United States. Volusia County ranked in sort of the bottom third in the state of Florida, which is not so good news. But among the positives for Volusia County was the fact that we have access and good health care facilities in Volusia County, which has got to be a positive.
Yeah, we have 2 great hospitals. Halifax, of course, is one of the top county hospitals in the state.
Right.
And they do a great job. We have a partnership with them in one of our home health programs. And then Florida Hospital is also well known in this area, does a great job. Then I guess we need to throw in Burtfish as well.
Sure.
They're coming back, and hopefully keep people in this community as long as possible.
And of course, coming online is the new major VA hospital in
Right.
Orlando. And of course, we have some great VA facilities here in Volusia County. This veteran population needs a lot of attention, and the young ones coming along are going to need attention before you know it.
Yeah, Mike White at the county VA is a great guy and does a great job with the veterans.
Financially, it can be challenging for seniors as well as healthcare. Healthcare seems to be a big issue across the country. Access to healthcare, we've said, is a good thing. What are some of the other challenges that the seniors are facing these days?
Well, a little from a financial perspective, many of them, as we talked earlier, lost a great deal of their savings, and
Right.
so staying involved in the workplace is very, very important. A lot of us, as we age, we tend to have injuries that create disabilities.
Right.
16 to 17% of seniors in Volusia County have some sort of disability, and so finding out ways to help them work around those disabilities. It can be as simple as going into their home and decluttering their homes, taking out slip rugs and things like that. But anything we can do to help the mobility of those seniors and keep them, again, active in the community.
You know, you mentioned that your agency is well known for the Meals on Wheels program, which is a phenomenal program. Tell us about Meals on Wheels, because it really has two purposes. It not only gets, gets a hot meal to our seniors, but it also is a well-being check.
Well, my predecessor was Gail Computero, and I think Gail put together one of the best programs, Meals on Wheels programs of its type in the state, maybe the nation. And what Gail wanted to do was bring the food to a local location, have volunteers go ahead and pack it in the coolers, and then take it out. And so we have volunteers making sure that the meal temperatures are correct. And then our volunteers go on the Meals on Wheels route, and it does two things. Provides 1/3 daily RDA, and secondly, it is a health checkup, because those volunteers that deliver those meals make sure that that person's okay. Now, a lot of organizations like ours in the state and across the nation are doing frozen meals that are only piped in once a week.
I see.
We get hot meals in every day.
Doug, what other services do you provide?
Well, the one program we talked about for caregivers is a respite program. And what it is, it's in cooperation with 6 or 7 churches in Volusia County. And the caregiver can drop their loved one off the respite facility. It's based upon a national model. Starts out with chair exercises, physical exercises, short-term memory, long-term memory, break for lunch, then we play dominoes and bingo. And so it gives the caregiver that 6-7 hours of respite, but then also does something stimulating for the client as well.
Doug, if there are people out there that would like to volunteer to help you out, I'm assuming you could always use volunteers?
Yeah, give us a call, 253-4700, 386-253-4700. With the meals program, every day it takes nearly 300 volunteers to get those meals out.
Wow.
So we really need the help, and again, anything anybody can do, we can count it as in-kind match.
And what are you doing for the holidays?
Well, my son is married, and he lives in Akron, and so we're going to go up and see the potential grandchild. But with respect to the Council on Aging, we had a big Senior for Santa program sponsored by Lohman's. WNDB is also one of our sponsors, and we're trying to get all those gifts out to those seniors before Christmas.
Yeah, basically, so that they'll have a few gifts to open, as well as some
Right.
things that perhaps they can use. You know.
And people, if they want to continue to contribute, they can contribute up to December 13th, and you can do it at all the city halls throughout Volusia County.
Well, I want to thank you very much for sharing the information, Doug. Obviously, a very, very important service that you provide, and to a very important segment of our population. So thanks for sharing the information.
Thank you for your time.
Our guest today, Doug Beach, he's the CFO of the Council on Aging in Volusia County. And with that, we'll go back to you. Happy holidays, everyone.
Thanks for watching this edition of Volusia Magazine. If you have any questions about our program, just give us a call at any of the numbers you see listed on the screen. You can also watch Volusia Magazine online. Just visit volusia.org and click on the News tab. And don't forget to listen to Volusia Today, Volusia County Government's public information radio show, which airs every Tuesday and Sunday mornings on the local radio stations you see on the screen. Thanks for watching this edition of Volusia Magazine. I'm Joanne Magley. Have a great week.